This is not a good time.
She'll die without me, don't you see? You're killing me. She's fine. She's a little sick. Move aside, sir.
This is not the best time. You can't stop our love!
Yeah.
Hey, Maniacs.
Hey, Maniacs.
That's getting out of hand. You almost had Doppler on that.
Mystery Maniacs is a comedy recap podcast dedicated to mystery TV. Each week we dig into an episode of the show, including the murders, the mayhem, the loonies, and everything else we love. This week, Murdoch Mysteries, Let Us Ask the Maiden.
Season 2, episode 11. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Mark. This is a spoiler podcast.
We're going to ruin it and tell you who did it.
And if you let your kids put on arsenic makeup, they're old enough to listen to the podcast.
If they survive,
I guess.
their arsenical makeup.
Arsenical?
Before we dive in,
That's as clumsy a word as co-religious.
I think that's a real word.
It is a real word.
Arsenical.
Arsenical?
Yeah.
Don't put your pickle in the arsenical.
Okay. That's not safe for kids.
It's not safe for anybody.
You got to reel it back there, son.
Arsenical bread is even worse.
It's different than pumpernickel,
We
for sure.
We put a pumpernickel and then we put the butter on it and then
A little bit of arsenical.
a nice piece of
I'm worried about what you're going to say next.
roast beef and then some vegetables. And then on the top bread, you put the arsenical. It's better than being kicked in the arsenical.
I guess. Okay. Now that you got that out of your system.
Speaking of nice things that people have said about us.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about.
Oh, we're punchy already, ladies and
Birdie.
gentlemen.
We're talking about Birdie on the Reddits.
Ginger Birdie.
Thank
so
you.
We're not going to get into this other
No.
than to say somebody said something extremely nice about us.
Yes.
This is what they said. Mark and Sarah are the driftiest of badgers, the mellowest of midsummers, the littlest of worthies. They are the Tom to our Jones and the John to our Winter. We eat Plummer's relish for them and wash it down with a glass of poisoned wine from the Vinia. Why'd I even go so far to say is we give up our unacknowledged child fathered by the Lord of the Manor for them.
That's the nicest thing anybody's ever said.
What a spectacularly nice thing to say.
Thank you, Birdie. That's so nice. And truly a maniac compliment.
Yes, fantastic.
Right on.
If there were imaginary fake coins on Reddit anymore, because there's not anymore, I would give them all to you.
That's saying something, because before they disappeared, we had a lot.
Yes.
Are you ready to talk about Let Us Ask the Maiden?
Let Us Ask the Maiden. Original air date, April 14th, 2009, sorry. Woo. Directed by Harvey Crossland. Written by Jason Sherman. By the way, I realized I got to be careful when I'm in Canada. Because when I'm in next, I think it's the week after next, the new season of Murdoch starts in Canada. Now, if you watch Murdoch on Acorn, season 16 is done. So we're all up to date. But Canada gets new episodes.
Oh, you can't be watching TV when you're
I
there.
can't be watching TV and see like, this week on Murdoch, blah, 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 blah.
You see a trailer and you're going to be like, oh, that ruins everything.
Yeah. Speaking of ruining everything, September 22nd, yesterday, because we're recording on the 23rd, was Johnny Harris's birthday.
Aw, happy birthday, Crabtree.
What do you think we should give Johnny Harris for his birthday?
I don't know, but he's incredibly brave in this episode. So, a Golden Billy Club.
Yeah,
Get back here, you big bastard. He goes after that Jersey guy who's ginormous.
Yeah, and totally calls him a bastard.
Yeah. That's what I'm giving him, because he's deserved it.
So guess how old Mr. Harris is?
40.
47 yesterday.
Really?
Yep. Looks great for
He's
47.
almost as old as I am.
He looks great for 47.
Yeah, he does.
Absolutely spectacular.
He's awesome. You ready to talk
But
about...
he was just a wee lad in this episode.
Yes. Are you ready to
I
talk
can't
about
believe
the
he calls
rabbis?
that guy a bastard.
I can. He's after him.
Okay, so this, as an overview, is an episode about Jewish culture, and there are things in Jewish culture that are different than the main character's culture.
To be fair, it's really about one greedy rat bastard who just happens to be Jewish. It really has nothing to do with it.
It
But
is
it's set-
color for the episode.
Yes, it is set amongst Jewish immigrants in Toronto.
And I would have to say, done not in a heavy-handed, but a
Respectful way, I think.
respectful way. Absolutely.
Like, I think that Julia and the rabbi are probably just going to hang out now. I think they're probably just friends. I mean, once you've cut somebody up together, you got a bond.
I do
think.
like how they start as somewhat adversarial and then realize that they're both really caring for the dead. Mm-hmm. So,
Absolutely. So Nathan Siebold quickly collapses
yep.
during prayer after being a bit sweaty.
Yes. He's very sweaty.
He's very sweaty and spits up some blood, and then he's dead.
I really wish, it's unfortunate, but the idea is that he's reading a text that is heretical,
The Zohar.
the Zohar, which is unfortunate because I love all that stuff.
It's
Like,
interesting, but it is a total red herring in this episode. It's not important at all.
and there are tons of Jewish scholars and scholarship around all the weird and interesting things about Hebrew manuscripts.
The history of Hebrew manuscripts is really interesting.
It's absolutely fascinating without it being like the weird numerology or anything like that.
No.
All that the story of the birth of those books being brought then into Christianity is super interesting.
For example, during when these men are praying, you notice the headbands that they're wearing and the
Yeah.
arm wraps that they're wearing. Do
Yeah.
you know what those are?
Those are little boxes that have Torah readings in them.
Tiny scrolls in them.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're called tefillin.
Yeah.
And they're bigger by and large. Well, that's kind of a pun. On average, they are larger now than they used to be because the practice of this, they call it microcalligraphy.
Oh, that's super
That was
interesting.
necessary to copy these long passages onto tiny scrolls that would then be put into those boxes. Because there's, I want to say 3 in each of the boxes.
Wow.
And it's a long passage. But that practice of microcalligraphy is kind of going away. So the boxes had to be made slightly larger to hold the scrolls.
Oh, that's interesting.
I saw on the British Jewish Museum website, they have kind of an evolution of tefillin and their sizes.
Oh, that's super interesting.
Microcalligraphy.
Microcalligraphy.
There's a hobby for you.
Yeah.
Not.
No.
Did you have the patience to do that?
No.
Me either.
No.
You know what else is dead?
The plant.
The plant. Called it. It is a symbol of the relationship.
Yes.
'Tis died.
Dear Sarah, click, 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 click. I'm going to read out what I'm writing as I'm writing it. Mm-hmm. That's bad writing.
Well, better than to make us read what's being typed, because that's really annoying.
No, but the easy middle ground is to do a voiceover.
Yeah.
But they don't do any voiceovers in the rest of the show.
No. But Murdoch does not know how to write a letter.
So. Yes. Wow, what a letter.
He knows how to write a legal document or a treatise or something, but not an informal, heartfelt letter.
It's like when you read, sometimes because of our jobs, we interact with extreme academics through email.
Yes.
And they write email differently than normal people write email.
Can you include any words that have fewer than 5 syllables in your email? I have to look up these words to find out. Oh, you're having trouble with the pedagogy. Okay. Okay. You can't figure out that quiz. Okay. Got it.
By the way, Oliver 2 is the typewriter he's using. They're about $2,000 for a completely refurbished one right now.
It's beautiful. It's really pretty.
Hand painted, gorgeous. It's got the wings.
Tom shows up and he's like, I'm an expert in love letters. And Murdoch says, well, I'm writing an apology. And he's like, anyway, we know he's not real good at apologies. Just get her some flowers.
Did you notice what was behind Murdoch?
No.
There's a justice statue. That's a new thing.
On the windowsill.
Yep.
Yeah. What's on the other end of the windowsill?
I don't know. Maybe a little sign that says, "Don't use your girlfriend as bait."
No, it's a box that has a meter and some knobs on the front of it. I don't know exactly what it is.
Some Murdoch thing.
Yeah, it's probably something he invented in a different episode.
There's been a murder in the ward.
Yeah.
So the ward is an actual recent area in Toronto. It's not called the ward anymore. Mm-hmm. It is between Dundas and Queen Street, between Yonge and University.
And historically, is it a place where Jewish immigrants settled?
Absolutely.
Was it called the ward before that?
No, it was called the ward then.
Okay.
And where it is now is the west side of the Eaton Center, which is a giant mall in downtown Toronto. Nathan Phillips Square, where the skating rink is, and the new town hall.
Oh, when I hear the word ward, I think hospital. So I don't know where that would come from.
The hospital is north of there, the original hospital.
No, I just mean ward to me refers to part of a hospital.
Yeah. So what happened was the Jewish immigrants settled in the ward, and then when it became too crowded, they moved west to an area of Spadina and Dundas, and then the Chinese immigrants moved into the ward.
Ah.
So there's a lot of stuff in the ward about Chinese immigrants as well. And then what happened was the Jewish immigrants then moved northwest from there, and the Chinese immigrants moved from the ward to Dundas, where the second largest Chinatown in the world is now.
I'm guessing that the ward was a low income area, so immigrants would move there because they could afford it, and then as they get better integrated and become more successful, they can afford to move away from there.
Yeah.
Then the next group of immigrants who needs a low income place to live.
That's totally the way.
It's like a pit stop.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the rabbi says that the book killed Nathan.
Yes. And I'm like,
that it made him insane.
I'm like, this is good. This is good stuff.
Like, is this an occult book? Is it a super secret, powerful book? No, it doesn't really matter. It's just commentary on the Torah, and we don't get to know anything. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Unless maybe he licked it.
Maybe.
We find out later. Maybe if he licked it, it might have hurt him.
It may be.
But he probably didn't. So when Julia comes to take the body, Nathan's body, to the morgue, they want to stop her from taking him because the Jewish tradition is that when somebody dies, they should be buried as quickly as possible and their body should be intact.
Yeah.
Right? So you stay up, you sit Shiva with the body. They keep it company because the understanding is that you need to protect it from evil spirits invading the body. And then it's all a sign of respect. And so for her to come and take the body is like, whoa, wait a minute. That goes against our tradition. But as soon as the rabbi understands that she knows the rules, he's like, okay, let's see how you do. I like that a lot. I like that she knows the rules, and I like that he understands, he acknowledges right away that she knows the rules, so maybe she's all right.
Murdoch knows some of the rules, too. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Though I don't understand why they don't cover his body when they carry him out of the building.
No, they should probably do that.
So that Deborah can dive from a carriage and freak out.
Yes.
Why is Goldberg taking her around in a carriage anyway if she's so sick?
The whole Goldberg-Deborah thing bothers me. I realize that it's far more likely that there are many more relationships like this at this time, but it still bothers me.
So the woman who jumps out of the carriage and freaks out over the uncovered body is Deborah Begelman.
Yes.
Who may or may not be engaged to Nathan and may or may not be engaged to Goldberg, the doctor taking care of her.
Yes.
Who may or may not be a jerk.
Yes.
At this point, we don't know.
We just don't know.
Though... every time I hear Goldberg, I just think of Goldberg.
Yes.
You know, the former wrestler Goldberg.
Yes.
Who's a very different guy.
Yes, he's a very different guy.
He's more like Jersey, the guy in the factory.
He's more like him. Yes.
And very bald and big and tan and all that muscle-bound stuff.
You know what time it is?
Oh, it's time for Enid to show up.
No. Before Enid shows up, it's Bracken Reed's Racist Minute.
Well... what do you expect from Bracken Reed? He's actually not as bad as I thought he was going to be.
He's not as bad as we thought, but he had to get the fresh off the boat, old guard from England, all that stuff in there.
Yeah, there's two kinds of Jews. Be careful, you don't get them mixed up. Murdoch's like, what are you even talking about? Don't worry about it.
My next note is stupid Enid is stupid.
Well, yeah. Well, so Murdoch has sent her flowers. He actually took Tom's advice.
Yes.
So she shows up so they can go out for tea. What? I thought at the end of the last episode, Murdoch had realized Enid was not for him.
Yeah.
Is he apologizing to her because he does want to rekindle their relationship, or does he just genuinely feel bad that he hurt anybody's feelings and wants to fix it?
I think this. I think Murdoch loves Julia. I think he's frustrated because Julia said that her opinion of him has changed. Okay. So then he went to Rebound Town. Mm-hmm. And then now he feels that he took advantage of Enid. But I also think there's a little misogyny here in Murdoch where he is like, this person doesn't like me, so I'm going to do everything I can to make this person like me again, regardless if I like her or not.
Is that a misogyny thing? Is it because she's a woman you think he feels that way?
I think it's...
If he had offended another man that he genuinely thought was an okay person, wouldn't he feel as bad?
I think it's that...
I mean, he wouldn't send him flowers, obviously. That would be weird.
I think it's like, it's not toxic or anything like that, but it's that subtle...
So you agree with me that he's genuinely deep down more concerned with having offended her and wants her to forgive him and like him as a person rather than trying to win her back in some romantic way.
Yes.
That he's more motivated by having offended her.
I worry about you because I'm stupid. I'm glad she brought jewelry.
Yeah. So he buys her flowers. Does she then rush out and buy a St. Michael medal, or did she already have it to give to him and just hadn't given it to him yet?
I have in my notes, I should apologize for something. No, you shouldn't. Yes, he should apologize for using her as bait.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he did already.
And he said I was sorry. They have no reason to be having tea.
No, except his ego is hurt because she hates him.
That's why I think it's the
Though
little...
she doesn't, obviously.
That little misogyny to it.
Oh, I just think... I thought she was gone.
I know.
Why is she back?
I don't know.
No.
George makes $1.20 a day. Mm-hmm. It's not bad.
So they go to see Deborah, and Goldberg answers the door.
This is not a good time.
She'll die without me, don't you see? You're killing me. She's fine. She's a little sick. Move aside, sir.
This is not the best time. You can't stop our love!
Yeah. She's just sick. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Like Murdoch and Crabtree are just going to stand outside and go, oh, okay, well, then we'll come back at some other time.
Like,
don't worry about it.
What was the direction they gave the actress who plays Deborah?
Exorcist. Okay, we're going to spritz you with some water so you look good and sweaty. All right? Now, flop around like a fish.
Yep.
Scream.
Yep.
Say mysterious things that could mean something
Can't
that don't.
stop our love!
She'll die without you. I like bacon. Ah! Put my face cream on. I need more face cream. Keep it right next to my bed.
I don't have cholera. I'm just pissed.
Yeah, where's the line between cholera and genuine anger?
I don't have cholera. I'm possessed.
Yeah. Speaking of which, they say that maybe she's possessed by a Dybuk.
A Dybuk. Yep.
Had you heard of a Dybuk before?
I had heard of a Dybuk before because there's a movie called Dybuk.
So a Dybuk is the name for a demon or a lost spirit in Jewish mythology, and it means attached. Like, so the early idea was that a soul that didn't move on would attach itself to somebody, and you'd have to kind of shake it off.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
That's the kind of sterilized, friendly version of what a Dybuk is.
Oh, westernized version of it, for sure.
No, not necessarily. But there's a more specific way that,
oh, okay,
in mythology anyway, and
Yep.
in old texts, that a Dybuk attaches itself to somebody.
Okay. How does that happen?
I'm just going to read a little passage here, okay?
Okay. Welcome to Dybuk Theater.
And I'm going to tell you that I got this from the British Jewish Historical Museum website.
Okay.
This is not from some cranky Tumblr or something.
This is Jewish folklore.
Traditionally, Dybuks tended to be male spirits who possessed a woman on the eve of their wedding, typically in a sexual fashion, by entering the woman through their vaginas. And in psychological literature of the time, the Dybuk was seen as a hysterical syndrome.
Wow.
Like how I glossed over the vagina thing.
That has a million things all wrapped up in it.
I know.
Like, wow.
But it makes them saying that maybe she's possessed by a Dybuk make more sense since she's about to get married.
It does.
And she seems hysterical.
Yeah.
Right? But then the Dybuk, as you know it, and as a lot of people know it, is more like a demon.
Yes.
Right? Because that's kind of the westernized, modernized, sort of urban legend, internet legend version of it.
Yep.
Because of that stupid Dybuk box.
Yes. So in 2008, was it 2008?
No, 2003.
Okay.
A furniture restorer named Kevin Manus buys a wine cabinet at a garage sale.
Yep.
Literally at a garage sale. And thinks, I'm going to do some restoration on this and fix it up. And I'm going to put it on eBay and call it a Dybuk box. And write this whole story about how it's possessed and it holds the souls of these Holocaust victims. And I'm going to put a stone in there and some hair I cut off my dog. And it's like interactive fiction.
Yeah.
Okay.
To make money.
To make money.
Yep.
He never claimed it was real, just didn't say that it wasn't, right?
Yep.
Somebody buys it for $280. It passes through a bunch of people's hands and ends up in the hands of this guy named Jason Haxton, who owns an osteopathy museum.
Okay.
And he's like, this thing's actually evil. It does all kinds of bad things.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. But he then sells the story rights to a production company, and Sam Raimi makes a movie called The Possession about it.
Yes.
This is what's interesting to me. Kevin Manus sold it for $280.
Yes.
Now, he bought the cabinet at the garage sale for $10, so he made a good profit.
He did.
But Jason Haxton made a much bigger profit off of his $280 when he sold the rights.
How much did he sell the rights for?
Undisclosed amount in six figures.
Jeez.
For something somebody else made up that you bought on eBay that's not even true.
I need to be selling Xander's textbooks on eBay
And saying they're possessed. Full of angst about how hard finite math is. I couldn't believe. And here's the other thing is that Jason Haxton, who bought it and then sold the rights, that guy, the second guy, well, he's not even the second guy to own it. The final guy to own it. Also wrote a book.
Yeah.
Called The Possession. And right now on Amazon, it's $499. It's a paperback. I don't get it.
It is boondoggle from the highest level.
Well, now that guy who does the ghost shows owns it. Zach Baggins.
Okay.
He sounds like a Lord of the Rings character, but he's not. That's why I always have trouble with his name.
Why is there a YouTube video entitled Post Malone was cursed by a haunted Dybuk box?
Yes, because he went to Zach Baggins' museum of fake haunted crap and touched it and then claimed bad stuff happened to him afterwards.
Why are we talking about Post Malone on this podcast?
Because Deborah's possessed by a Dybuk, otherwise known as poisonous face cream and bad boyfriend.
This is the problem I have with this episode, okay? The problem I have with this episode is they have a mystical book with mystical stuff. Mm-hmm. They have Dybuk possession.
And none of it is...
They have all this great stuff.
They're setting it up.
That they could use.
And then they just drop it.
And then they throw trade unionists at us.
Because, Mark, the real evil in the world is greed.
Oh, okay.
That's the real Dybuk.
I thought it was arsenic steam shirts.
By greed.
Yes.
It's really down to a bad dad.
It's a bad dad.
Bad dads ruin everything. Why, in the morgue, when Julia and the rabbi are being such good friends, does she feel the need to pick up a bunch of innards and play peekaboo with them?
I don't know, but it's not the morgue of romance anymore.
She does, though, doesn't she?
She looks through his innards.
I don't know what organ that is supposed to be, but she picks it up and like looks through it like peekaboo. And she's like, I know what killed him. It was arsenic. The mystical game of peekaboo reveals the answer to her.
Yeah.
Put the guts down, Julia. After you've had this long conversation about the tradition of making sure that the body is complete and that even every drop of blood is returned, would you be playing peekaboo with his guts?
No. Certainly not smelling his stomach milk.
Oh, yeah. Why do you have to keep bringing that up? Ugh. Every time you say that, everybody listening throws up just a little bit in their mouth. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Bagelman is the stereotypical boss and bad dad. She's hysterical. She's impressionable. She shouldn't be accepting gifts. That kid's not good enough for her. I'm going to lock my people up.
Hey, if you're bad in one area, you're not going to be a horrible dad and a really generous boss. You're just bad in every way, and Bagelman's bad in every way.
Yeah.
He's a big jerk in a coat that doesn't fit him very well.
Yeah. He's a baddie. He's certainly a baddie.
Never mind. Meantime, Devra's dreaming of Nathan waking up in the morgue.
Yeah, okay. Ooh.
Go back to sleep, sweetheart. Here's some more sleeping drugs. Let me just inject you with this.
That's a weird thing.
Okay, but here's what it made me think of, because I'm a horrible person.
We're
right?
horrible people.
We've just had the discussion about how important it is to keep the body complete for Jewish tradition.
We're horrible people.
How does that apply to zombies?
I don't know, but now I can't stop thinking.
Like, do you have to be complete when you're buried the first time? But then if you come back and parts start falling off, it's okay? Or would you have zombies like picking up their bits and carrying them around because they know that it's important that they be complete? But they'd have to know they're dead to do that.
My first thought was, are zombies that are Jewish better? Like,
they're more complete.
They're more complete.
Yeah. They might last longer
as
zombies. So if you're a zombie lord going to raise hordes of the dead.
Yeah. If you're a necromancer.
But they're not preserved before they're buried.
That's true.
So they'd probably be more rotten because they don't have the formaldehyde stuff. They're not, what's the word when you...
Preserved.
No, the other word.
Pickled.
No. Not pickled. When a mortician prepares a body, embalmed. Thank you.
Pickled.
They're not embalmed. So they might be...
That might be my best joke in a long time.
So they might be a bit more puddly when they come back.
Yeah, maybe.
It's just different traditions, And then there are the people who go for the natural burial, who get buried under a tree.
Yeah.
And they come back as zombies with trees growing out of them. It's heavy to drag around a tree with you when you're trying to eat brains.
Sarah, what is the problem you had with the last episode?
Other than Enid's in it?
Yes, other than Enid's in it.
I don't know.
There were too few characters.
Yes.
So we need more characters in this episode. So let's get Sam involved now.
I like Sam. And Sam pulls off black eye makeup very well.
He does.
They do a really good job with him after he gets beat up.
He does. He's reading a Jewish newspaper, and I went to find Jewish newspapers in Canada at this time, and the closest I could find was the Yiddischer Journal from 1910 to 1975. Actually produced roughly 200 yards from where I used to live in Toronto.
Oh.
The last place I lived.
So in reality, it started after this episode is set.
But I would imagine they had underground or more local papers. That's a kind of official paper. But
yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
So Sam and Nathan both worked at the factory that Mr. Bagelman runs. It's a sweatshop, not just because it's hot and steamy, but because he makes people work long hours, underpays them, chains them in.
Yes.
He locks the doors to not let people come and go. And then he has his thug, Jersey, the doorman.
Why is he called Jersey?
That's his first name.
I know it's his first name.
He's Polish.
I keep thinking Jersey Shore.
Jersey Pozlowski.
Yes.
Who answers the door. He's busy. And George is like, move aside. Like, you go, George. Later, you're going to tackle that guy and call him a bastard.
George is coppity cop in this episode.
He is. So Sam and Nathan both work there.
Yep.
They're the two young guys.
Yes.
They're older than the children who work in the factory.
Yes.
But they're the young guys.
So one of the things that happens is that the church, the synagogue is being sold. And they've bought an old church. Now, where that money comes from and how the rabbi's involved with that is all kind of hush-hush. But I did a search on synagogues in Toronto, and there wasn't a synagogue at this point in time. So this was like it's hard to say it's not official, because wherever the Torah is and wherever there's
10 people to
10
pray.
people to pray, it's a synagogue.
Yeah.
But it
Well,
was
and it's clear that the space they're meeting in now isn't a traditional synagogue. It's not a purpose-built space. It's somebody's dining room or something.
Yes. And it wasn't until the 1910s and 20s that they began actually building synagogues in Toronto, which I walked past several times, including the first one. So as someone who lived in Toronto, I didn't realize it was a synagogue, but it isn't now. But it's Toronto, so it's apartments now.
Because everything gets turned into
Everything
apartments.
gets turned into apartments in Toronto.
And we find out that Devra has purchased the worst beauty product ever. If you have to sign the poison book to buy face cream, don't buy that.
The Song of Solomon Beauty Arsenic Treatment.
Yeah. Isn't it romantic? Lips like wine, face like death.
You too will glow until you die.
Yeah. It's like when they used to use, like uranium laced stuff.
Yes.
Because it made your face glow.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you got radioactive eyelids, lady. They're going to rot off. So she bought the skin cream. So the skin cream that has the symbol on it on the top that means arsenic, but everybody's like, well, if you rearrange the lines, it makes a star. Okay, no, not really, but all right.
And it's arsenic poisoning, alchemic, you got the ghost possession, you've got the bad book. There's so much good stuff here.
Never mind, greedy.
Yep.
Greedy bad dad.
Never mind, greedy.
When Tom, George, and Murdoch are talking about the case in the cop shop, Henry is behind them talking on the phone. Now, what he's doing is taking a report that Sam has been beaten up.
Yes.
But you don't know that when he's on the phone. And what it looks like is he's having the best gossip session ever.
Yes, he is.
He's holding that phone like, girl, then what happened? Oh my gosh, really?
He's doing some background acting.
Yes. He's back there like, watermelon? Watermelon? Whoa, watermelon? Because that's what you say when you're background acting.
So Goldberg comes to the station and tells Murdoch that he didn't kill Nate.
I've just come here to tell you I didn't kill anyone.
And I have in my notes at this point in time, is Murdoch susceptible to good acting?
I think he is.
Because now this is a trope, right? The trope is, and it's two men here, but usually it's a man who's interrogating a woman. Mm-hmm. And she goes, I couldn't have done it. I'm just not that kind of person. And suddenly the detective is like, I believe her.
Yeah. I don't think she's
this
guilty.
This is nothing like reality. Because
No.
reality knows that good acting,
That people can lie.
that people can lie.
Yeah.
So in reality, everything's based on evidence because it has to be.
Right.
But, and this is more dramatic. That's what I'm saying. But it's still funny to say, is Murdoch susceptible?
Murdoch?
Is
he a wizard now? Murdoch.
Is Murdoch susceptible to good acting?
Yes. If Goldberg was less convincing, he might think he was still a suspect.
Yes.
But Goldberg is a good actor, played by Jonathan Walker. And so he's convincing.
So let's go give Mr. Jersey a visit. The big bastard.
Get back here, you big bastard.
George.
Because he tries to run. Where is he going to go? The place is so crowded.
Yep. So then it cuts to back to the station, and George is all beat up.
In the interrogation room.
Yep.
Ooh, Jersey makes a big mistake.
Oh, he spits on the floor.
In front of Tom.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't do that?
No.
He's going to have to wipe it up with his own hat.
But then they're like, oh, you're in trouble for murder. And he's like, oh, I'll tell you everything.
Yeah. No. What do you want to know? I'll tell you. Please let me go. Let me clean that spit up before I go. He says that Goldberg and Bigelman are buying up properties together because they know they're going to be demolished and then new development's going to come in. So they're going to make money because the value of the land is going to go up.
This happened several times.
It happens
all
all the time.
Yeah.
It's happening right now everywhere, all the time. So it's not a big surprise. And it's not against the law necessarily.
No.
Right? If you're paying a fair price for what it's worth, the fact that the value goes up later is not a crime. However, Bigelman is a bad guy.
If you beat up people and poison them
That's
for starting
bad.
up a union and sell your daughter
Twice.
Twice.
That's a bad idea.
That's a bad idea.
Because one of the letters that's in Nathan's mysterious book that isn't mysterious is a marriage contract for Deborah and Nathan to get married that apparently was created on the boat coming over from Europe by their fathers.
Yeah, that whole thing is like hand wavy.
Yeah, like, don't look over here.
Pay no attention to what's going on here.
I think it's really stupid that Murdoch's notes on the board just happened to make a Star of David.
That is the worst part of the episode.
That is so over the top.
That's pandering. Not pandering. It's a bit...
It's heavy-handed.
It's heavy-handed.
Yeah. Love triangle. Yes, that's a triangle.
Yeah.
But then there's an inverted triangle on top of it for a different relationship. And it just happens to make a star.
Yeah.
Come on. Can we get to my favorite scene now?
Yeah.
When Murdoch and Enid go for tea again.
The tea shop of Dumptown.
And he breaks up with her, but not really.
Oh.
Ah! I so wanted that to be real.
So, and
does he invite her out for tea to tell her that they're done? And then just weenies out?
I think that's what he does.
I think so too. I think he's fantasizing about saying, I'm sorry, but I'm not over her. But then he weenies out and gets distracted by his own case, so he doesn't do it.
And like, I don't like Enid. But her whole point is, you're a policeman. I'm worried about you. You make bad decisions because you're a policeman. And he's like, steam, I'm out of here.
He does a Barnaby. He totally pulls a Barnaby.
Proving he is not a good person to be in a relationship with Enid, so she should go away forever.
Yeah. So he chooses the tea shop as the place that he's going to break up with her.
Yes.
Is a tea shop a good place to break up with somebody?
Well, I got to say, I've been broken up with a lot. I'm here to say. We don't want to name names. We don't need to name names.
It was way back when.
Way back when.
Before I knew you.
Before you knew me. And yeah, tea shop's pretty good because it's public. It's quick. It's not like you went to dinner with the person.
You don't have to sit through dessert after having broken up.
Oh.
The awkward, right? Yeah. And it's a relatively quiet and genteel place, so you can't make a scene.
Yeah.
Though, if you chose to, there's a lot to break.
There is a lot to break.
Enid could totally flip that table.
But I might like her if she did that.
She's like, oh, that red-haired hussy doctor. Throws the table, breaks the china.
She touches dead people.
And you pick her over me? We'd be like, oh, wait a minute. Let's keep Enid. We like her. So are there, I don't know, that's a risk. I think Enid is a very reserved person. I think he can trust that she's not going to do that.
Yes.
But that's not necessarily, I mean, are there other places, like, are there worse places? Like, because if she did lose it, that's a bad place to be. Because you're going to make a scene in society in front of dainty ladies who are going to talk.
You don't want to dump someone at the gun range.
No.
No.
Let's agree that if you're going to dump somebody, you need to take them someplace where you're
you're
in public, and whatever it is you're going to do as kind of a cover for the conversation has to be something that can be brief.
And short-term activities.
And you can go.
Yeah.
So...
And don't engage in the activity for a long time and then dump them.
Right.
Like, don't be like, I know we just sat through a 4-hour movie, but...
That breaks the long time rule, right? It has to be a short time. So don't meet at the knife shop.
No, not at the knife shop.
That would be bad.
Yes.
I think it would be good to meet outside someplace that then only you can go into and they can't follow you. Right? Like,
hey, babe, I'd like to meet you outside the strip club. We just got a little thing to talk about before I...
And then you run inside and she won't follow you into the strip club?
I guess not. That's not something that actually happened to me.
Like, you could say, I want to meet my boyfriend out in front of the OBGYN office. Because then he'll think maybe I'm pregnant. But really, I'm just breaking up with him.
Or worse.
And he'll be relieved. And then I can run inside and he can't follow me.
Worse. Baby, can you meet me in front of the jeweler? We got something to talk about.
He's going to propose. No, I'm just breaking up with you.
Welcome to Dumpstown. I need a new watch.
That's a bad idea, too. Nowhere where you're meeting on a high ledge.
No.
Where they can shove you over.
Definitely.
So don't meet on a bridge, the Eiffel Tower, on a cliff.
Yeah.
That would be a bad place.
All bad places.
No precarious places.
I know we just started this transatlantic voyage, but
Now we're trapped on this boat together for 6 months after we've broken up. Awkward.
Yeah.
No. So all in all, the tea shop is not a bad place.
No.
But then he weenies out and doesn't do it. But he sort of does do it.
yes.
Because he runs off. I think he ditches her with the bill for the tea.
Oh, he totally dishes her with the bill. The cloud of death. Oh, no, that's a future episode that's actually good.
So Bagelman poisons the steam machine with his daughter's face cream to kill the pro-union worker.
I'm telling you, I'm not wearing those shirts.
Those shirts would be lethal.
Yep.
They'd be worse than licking that book.
Yeah.
You get a little bit warm and the arsenic starts to come out of the fabric. You start to feel bad.
Yep.
You get a little bit sweatier. You get more arsenic. And then you get killed by your own shirt.
Killed by your own shirt.
Never mind that whoever ironed it is dead already. Your shirt would...
And the guy in the machine next to him, and the guy, and the
Everybody
child
in
next
that
to him,
room would be
everyone
steamed to death.
They're locked in. Of course it's going to be a death trap.
And then you buy the shirt that's been steamed by the dead people who were murdered for being pro-union. You get poisoned by the arsenic and you start to get weak. And then their Dybuks attach to you because you're wearing the shirt,
Yep.
invading your private parts.
And then
it's
the
just
doctor-
a bad scene.
Then the doctor shows up and shoots everybody. I don't like character X arrives at the end and shoots person. It's a trope and it's an easy way out of the episode.
Before we get to that, can we talk a little bit about how bad Bagelman is?
Well, okay. I think we have, in that he's sold his daughter twice. Mm-hmm. Okay. He locks people into the room. Okay.
Yep.
He has a guy. Well, once you have hired a person to do physical harm to other people, you're officially moving on from the good guy list to the bad guy list.
Okay.
Okay. Then he puts the stuff in the steam.
Before that, though, he tells his daughter, I want you to look beautiful on your wedding day to this guy I sold you to. So go buy some poisonous face cream and wear it.
Yeah.
So that I can take some of it and use it to murder somebody.
He totally frames his own daughter.
And convinces her to buy something because it will make her pretty that will actually make her sick. And he knows that.
Yeah.
He gets his daughter to buy his murder weapon for him.
Yeah.
That's so bad.
It's so bad. And it would confuse all the cops who went around to all the different stores to ask.
Because they're not looking for face cream.
No.
But again, if you have to sign the poison book to buy the face cream, don't buy it.
If you have to sign the poison book to buy something and it doesn't end up being rats, there's a problem.
But it's like, as a parent, if you bought your child a giant set of Legos that they've always wanted and they're so excited about it, and then while they're at school, you build a machete of Legos and kill somebody with it, and then put the Legos back in the box.
I don't know where it happened. The kid brought them in the house, not me.
Yeah, it must have been Bobby. Bobby did it with the Lego machete.
He's horrible. I did try to find a poison book. Mm-hmm. I would love to get one of those.
They're super boring.
Yeah, well, no, it's just a list of people's names.
And what they bought.
But I wanted the cover.
Oh, yeah. Well, and some of them, the more advanced ones, instead of having to write arsenic on the line, they have a list of the poisons, and you just check the box and write in the number of ounces that they bought.
Yes.
So you could see all the possible poisons that somebody might carry in their store.
The fantastic world of apothecaries.
Yes, exactly. Can you put that in a face cream for me?
How about steam?
So you don't like the shows up and shoot people. I understand that. But I would argue that Bagelman is actually a good person.
Bagelman?
No, sorry. Goldberg.
Okay.
Goldberg is a good person.
Goldberg is misogynistic of his time. Mm-hmm. He is
no worse than anybody else in his time.
And he is entitled and privileged of his time.
Yes.
His race and his status.
Yes.
All of those things.
Yes.
In the end, I think he loves Deborah.
Not in a healthy way.
Not in a healthy way.
But he does love her.
Yep.
And he sacrifices himself for her future.
Yes.
Because he knows whether he marries her or not, she still has an epic asshole as a dad.
Yep. And so now she doesn't.
And something's got to happen.
Never mind Deborah's mom.
Where's Deborah's mom?
Where's Deborah's mom?
We have to assume that she's gone.
Yeah, we have to assume. I'm assuming the Bagelman
Just
killed
like
her.
Nathan's dad.
You sold our daughter. Oh, come here. Let's stand by the edge of the boat.
I have some face cream for you to try. Let me steam your shirt. Wear it out in the sun.
Okay.
So now Deborah's going to take over the factory, and she's pro-union, by the way.
Yep.
Just so you know.
I think Deborah and Sam are going to get together and have awesome family. That's what I think.
They could run a really good factory together.
Run a great factory, maybe clean that one machine.
Who's going to inherit all of Goldberg's real estate? Like, will Deborah get it because Bagelman and Goldberg bought him together?
Maybe.
Do you think he wrote a quick will before he went off and shot her dad?
I don't know. I hope he did.
But she may just be broken for life, though.
Yeah.
When you have to face up to the fact that your dad poisoned the love of your life and was then shot by your fiance, that's a lot.
With stuff he asked you to buy.
Yeah. Using a weapon that he tricked you into buying. That's complicated. She's going to need some therapy.
Do you think Jersey keeps his job or
No.
he gets a new job?
I don't know. Jersey strikes me as the big, dumb, loyal lug.
Yeah.
So he knows that Bagelman and Goldberg were doing bad things. So I think if Deborah talked to him and said, okay, Jersey, they were bad. Yeah, bad guys.
Yeah.
What they were doing was wrong. Wrong
Bad guy.
Wrong bad guys. We don't do that stuff anymore. Okay.
I work at factory.
I want you to actually protect the people who work here now instead of trying to trap them.
Okay.
I think he'd do it.
Okay.
I think he'd actually be handy to have around. And don't spit on the floor anymore.
Yes.
Okay.
Or you'll have to use your hat to
Clean it up. Murdoch's going to try to write another letter. He's hopeless.
Oh.
Dear Julia, I have become aware of the fact that while prevaricating on the status of our pre-romantic canoodling...
And the episode kind of goes...
The end.
Ugh.
Yeah, it just kind of like shoot, funeral, type, end.
Yeah. It's...
Meanwhile, Enid's flipping tables in tea shops. So mad. She runs up, just knocks a coffin off of their arms. I'm so angry. Her and her kid just storming around town.
Oh, again, this is another episode of, well, we can't afford to pay the kid, so he's not alive anymore.
She could become a villain, an anti-police vigilante villain, because she doesn't like their lifestyle.
Next year, we'll get to a fantastic female villain for Murdoch.
If we cover another season whenever, but I think they could have done that with Enid, because she's lost a man that she loves to his career.
But then she'd have to be in more episodes, and I hate her so much.
That's true. That's true.
It's only one left.
Maybe her son Olin could grow up and he could be the bad guy.
Okay, best corpse. We've covered that because there's only one corpse.
He's not just the best corpse because he's the only corpse. He's the best corpse because he wakes up.
He wakes up.
He's got the Y incision and everything, and his eyes go.
The weirdest moment of the episode.
I wanted him to sit up so bad and go, brains. Julia'd be like, I have some in a jar over here. Hold on. I'll get them for you. Eat these.
They're Protestant brains.
They're pickled. Num num. They're not embalmed. They're just
and
pickled.
we kind of covered after the credits.
Yeah, we did. Well, the episode kind of does it for us.
Yes.
So that is Ask the Maiden and the killer Lego machete. What's up next, sweetheart?
Next, we have Season 2, Episode 12, Werewolves. Mm-hmm. Which is the final Enid episode.
Does she get eaten?
I don't care that they're a werewolf.
Does she get eaten by a werewolf? Does she become a werewolf and get shot?
If only.
Please. Can we rewrite it?
And that'll come out the 2nd of October, which is
Spooky month.
Spooktober. We'll have a newsletter on the 4th of October. And then on the 9th of October, we will finish off Season 2 of Murdoch with Episode 13, Anything You Can Do.
I Can Do Better. Sibling rivalry with a brother who's a Mountie.
With a brother who's a Mountie. And there is a whole backstory that Americans watching this show will go, oh, he has a brother, he's a Mountie. Never mind that there was a show called Due South in which he played a Canadian cop who worked with an American.
We can talk about that then.
Like, there's a million things to talk about. Okay. Then we're off on the 16th. And then on the 23rd, we're going to start Father Brown. Now, we did Father Brown episode 1, season 1 already. But I'm going to change that episode a bit. I'm going to remix it a bit. So it won't be a brand new episode, but if you've listened to it before, I would say you should listen to it again. Maybe I'll throw some bloopers in there too.
Sorry, I was still thinking remix.
Yes, maybe I'll throw some bloopers in there too.
That'll be fun.
Yep. And that'll be released on the 23rd, but it won't be a new episode, but it'll be a remixed version of an old episode. And then we're off, of course,
for Halloween.
October 30th. We're off that day. Wiki. And that schedule in all its complexity, of course, will be in the next newsletter too. It was in the last newsletter, but it'll be in the next newsletter too. Remember to like, subscribe, click the buttons, all those hearts.
Say awesome things on Reddit.
Say awesome things on Reddit.
Until then.
I do want to say we'll probably be putting some spit and polish on the socials for when we switch to Father Brown, because we always do that. When we switch it up, we make them a little different. So
yeah. And hey, send us a message about where you think the worst place to break up with somebody would be.
Oh yeah, I'd love to hear that.
Because, gun range is a pretty bad one, but what's worse?
Gun range is pretty bad.
All right, until then, bye, Maniacs.
Bye, Maniacs.
Boom, boom, boom. Remix, get it?
And the history of Hebrew